Hello guys, my name is Keon and welcome to my first video tutorial on how to create VFX using Unity's shrinking particle system. First thing first, keep in mind that I'm a beginner myself. All of these is for beginners. If you already know what you're doing, feel free to skip this video. There's no value in those who are like advanced in these. Yeah, let's dive into it. For this one, I'm just gonna show you a little bit of UIs and what these on means. So first thing first, this is a kind of a default custom view of the UI. If you want one of these, you can simply go to Windows and then Layout, choose the 2x3 ones. The reason I like this one is everything is out here for me. I don't have to look for it. Everything I need is right in front of me. So first thing on the left, we have the scene view. This is where the particle take places. So this is where you navigate your stuff. If you hit Alt left mouse keyboard, you can rotate around the center of the object. If you do right click, you can zoom in and zoom out, and you can also use the middle mouse button to zoom in and zoom out. And then if you hit Alt, the middle mouse button, you can kind of pan over the scene. You can also use the keyboard shortcuts, the WASD, and hold the mouse right button to kind of like walk around in your scene, whichever you prefers. Down here we have the game view. This is where all the particles will be rendered. Everything you do here will show up in here as if you were playing a game, and it will only show where the camera view is. So for example, I have this particle. It's not showing right now because it's not in our camera, but if I move this in there, if I move this into the camera, play, where is it? As you can see, particles started playing in the camera view. Anyway, we have the hierarchies. Right here it lists off the objects in the scene in alphabetically order. So whatever you create, it's you know where to find them because they're all in alphabet order. As you can see, I already got stuff going on here. Right here we have the project panel. This is where the assets are, materials and textures and shader, whatever thing that you created will show up in here. And then down here we have the inspector panel, which is the property of the assets or setting that you're selecting. So right now I have assets selected. As you can see, it provides me the settings or things that I can change with whatever the thing that we create, whatever the subject asset that we created. So yeah, and that's pretty much it for the interface. To create a particle, all you have to do is any empty object in the hierarchy and right click and set effect and create particle system. I already got two going on. I got two. One is default and one is the one that we will be changing, just to show you the difference between the two so you have a better understanding of exactly what they are. So yeah, let's dive into it. So I have let's see, I got my little notes here just in case I forget. We have a duration here. What that is the length in time, length of time in second for the particle system to run. It's like a lifetime. Think of that as a lifetime, how long the particle emitter itself exists. And then we have looping, meaning a lot of these are very self-explanatory, and if you don't occasionally forget what they means, you can just hover over it and do nothing. It will show you the exact definition of what that is. So looping, obviously it loops around it's just constantly looping. And if that is disabled, as you can see, so this one right here is with the looping and this one is without looping. So if I click both and play at the same time, you can see that particle plays for about 1 second of duration, its lifetime, and it disappears. Whereas the other one, where it has looping, it will constantly pumping up those 1 second animation. Second one, we have pre-warm. What that is particle will act as if already completed a full cycle to start off. So like think of it like an oven. We pre-warm our oven so that when we like put in our ingredients, it's already at the temperature we like. That's basically what that is. So let's do one without pre-warm. So the default one is without the pre-warm, and the one we have is with pre-warm. And you can see that the one without pre-warm started already, where the one without it has start from ground zero. All right, let's go to the next one. We have, let's turn this one off. Obviously, you can't have pre-warm and start delay on, because start delay is like an animation. They delay in second before the particle starts. So you can do like fake animation. It works well with multiple particles when you want a certain particle to play at certain times. We don't want to, I'm not going to do much of these. I can show you well. Let's have it delay for 1 second, right? And this is one that we changed, and click both. Have it play at the same time. As you can see, it delayed for 1 second, and then it started playing. That's what that is. Let's see, what's next? All right, I'm just gonna change this to default. Lifetime. So this is the initial lifetime in second for the particles. The particle is destroyed after this time itself. So it basically how long the particle itself lasts. So if I change this one to 5 seconds, let's see, 3 seconds, right? In the default one, we have 5 seconds for the default one. And if we replay this animation, you can see that, well, maybe you can. Hold on. There it is. So it only lasts about 3 seconds for this one, and it destroys itself, whereas the other one, it lasts 5 seconds, which is longer the period than this one. And that's what that is. We got lifetime, speed, basically speed, start speed, how fast this particle will go. If I change this to, let's go something crazy. Yeah, that's another thing with particle systems, well, VFX in general. Don't be afraid to put numbers in. You can do as many as you want. Let's go like, 9,000, and it's so fast you can't even see anything. Well, that's maybe a little bit too much. Let's do 20 for this demo purpose. So if you look at that, default we have what? We have 5 seconds, not 5 seconds, speed of 5, and then we have the change speed of 20. You can see the result pretty clearly that the one with 20 has much faster speed. And again, it's very self-explanatory. A lot of them are. 3 start size, we're not going to touch that because that needs a mesh to work with it. So that's what it says. Well, it's 3D. Let's see, start size. Again, the initial size of the particle. So let's see, let's change that to like maybe 5, and you can see the result. Look, it's bigger than the other one. That's what that is. Rotation. Start rotation. Again, the initial rotation angle of the particle. So if I change this to 45, and you don't really see a difference because circles, no matter where you rotate, they're all going to be the same. But if you look at the outer line, the default one, we have a 0 angle, and the other one we have 45. You can see that the initial angle started differently, and that's what that is. Let's change that back. Flip rotation. It just flips the rotation. You can probably see it in the other way, but right now everything is set to whirl, so no matter where you turn, the shape will face you. It's like staring at your souls. Excuse me. Let's see, where are we at right now? So we got color, start color. Adds color to your particle. Anything you want. Down here we have the alpha, which is kind of like the opacity of the alpha. So if you change that, it kind of like fades away. This is, just think of it as an opacity layer. It's easier for you, if that's easier for you to understand. I'm gonna keep, I don't like this color. Ooh, favorite blue color. We're gonna do that. And gravity, it's scales the gravity value that's set in Unity's physical manager window. If it's set to 0, meaning that it's turned off. But if we turn it to like what, 9.5, that's the Earth gravity. As you can see, gravity is pulling it down. But if we do like a negative 9.5, it will go up. And you know, we always go crazy. Ooh, that's a little fast. That's how fast you will go if we have negative 100 gravity. Imagine if we have this power. I just talked about it. Simulation space. Local, meaning that everything will be face you. If you change it to world, it will only face to world. If you change it to, well, we're not going to do custom. Simulation speed, delta time. Those we don't typically leave it as default. I think. I'm pretty sure that's more like for events, more events ones. But we're going to leave these as default. And if you hover over those, they will explain to you what that is. Play on awake, very similar to pre-warm. This one starts emitting immediately when enabled. So if this is turned off, you have to manually start the particle system via a script or animation system, leaving this setting on as you want to. Now, leaving this on will have, you know, the particle play. So if I click this one off, it will play and it won't stop unless you tell it to stop. So we're gonna have this one on, and then emitter velocity, again, leave that one as default. Max particle, the amount of particle you're allowed this thing to show in here. So to see the difference between the two, we're gonna change this to 5. And if we, I mean, we don't really have to play both, but if you look at it, this one you only ask them, hi, you can only have 5 particles, whereas this one you can have 1,000. You can see the difference clearly. The amount, that's the amount of particle you're allowing allow the engine to have in the scene. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything else is leave it as default for now. As far as these, I will explain more as we go on, and just like the we did, but these one will be creating VFX with it, so to give you like this easier understanding of what these ones are. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time, or not.